As Rocky Balboa once said, let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. Sylvester Stallone's life was not an easy one. But in the sixth installment of the Rocky franchise, he shared his philosophy with us. I've watched Sylvester Stallone save the day as every iconic action hero ever since I was a kid, and specifically the Rocky movies probably more than 50 times over. This led me to research more into his life and upbringing. I've read multiple articles and biographies over the past 3 weeks in order to prepare for this presentation, and I would greatly enjoy sharing his story with you. Sylvester Stallone is responsible for one of the most memorable movie series in the past 40 years, with his creation of the Rocky movies and their sequel series Creed. He inspired others to face the hardships without hesitation. Stallone himself is proof that even at the lowest of lows, you can make your dreams come true. A living example that despite the challenges you face, innovation and determination will lead you to success. I believe Sylvester Stallone impacted the lives of not only his generation, but many others to come by inspiring them to face adversity fearlessly. Young Stallone endured a rough childhood before leaving the country on athletic scholarship to Switzerland. Here, he impacted his acting persona became apparent, so he transferred back to the States to study drama. Although he could not contain his acting aspirations very long, so he dropped out of college to pursue an acting career among the streets of New York City. He worked several minimum wage jobs to sustain his dream. Around this time, writing became an outlet for his stressful situation. Eventually, he created a screenplay about a young street thug aspiring to become a professional boxer. This feature film would become Sylvester's start to stardom. He would go on to play a decade's most memorable action heroes and create his own legacy. Let us start at the beginning of any story. According to biography.com, Michael Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone was born on July 6, 1946 in New York City to Frank Stallone Sr. and Jackie Stallone. His younger brother, Frank Jr., would join the family 4 years later in 1950. Stallone's trademark droopy lip and slurred speech was the result of a forceps accident during his birth. The incident severed a facial nerve and left parts of his face paralyzed. This visage would allow him to play the tough guy in several films later. Sylvester was an often sickly child due to being diagnosed with rickets at a very young age. The Mayo Clinic defines rickets as the disease in children caused by vitamin D deficiency, characterized by softening and distortion of the bones. Symptoms include delayed growth, bow legs, weakness, and pain in the spine, pelvis, and legs. It is also listed as extremely rare with less than 1,000 cases per year in the United States. Stallone's childhood continued to get rougher though. He spent most of his time in foster homes and has stated that his interest in acting came from his attempts to get attention from the strangers who raised him. At the age of 5, Stallone's family moved to Maryland, where his parents' bickering amplified. Following his parents' divorce in 1957, the adolescent Sylvester was sent to live with his father. Stallone's adolescence proved to be more traumatic as he seemed willing to do anything for attention. Stallone was enrolled in 12 schools and expelled from many due to behavioral issues. His grades were awful, and he was often bullied for his appearance. Stallone coped by developing fantasies in which he presented himself as a brave hero and underdog, which led him to become a risk taker. Despite his traumatic childhood, Stallone was able to endure and find new ways to outlet his distress. When Stallone was 15, he moved in with his mother and stepfather in Philadelphia. Around this time, Sylvester had began lifting weights and picked up fencing, football, and the discus. Stallone also started appearing in school plays. These new hobbies gave him a much more positive way to seek attention than his previous endeavors. After graduating high school, Stallone received an athletic scholarship from the American College of Switzerland. While in Switzerland, he was a girls' athletic coach, a star football player, and in his free time starred in a school production of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. After 2 years in Switzerland, Stallone returned to the States and studied drama at the University of Miami until dropping out to pursue an acting career in New York City. The year was 1969. Sylvester was determined to make it big, and he knew it wasn't going to be easy. He worked all kinds of minimum wage jobs in order to sustain his acting aspirations. He auditioned often, but rarely found stage work. Usually any acting jobs he did find were very insignificant. Stallone even resorted to starring in a low-production adult film just to keep his head above water a little bit longer. His face and deep voice factored into Stallone's constant rejection. Although rather than give up, he developed yet another coping mechanism: writing. Stallone then created a screenplay about a young street thug aspiring to become a professional boxer. Studios were eager to buy it. But Stallone met rejection after rejection due to his request to star as the main character. After much negotiation, producers Irwin Winkler and Robert Chartoff accepted Stallone's terms, and Rocky became one of the biggest movie hits of all time. In a Forbes article by Tom Ward, Stallone describes Rocky's premiere showing to Michael Watson. The laughs weren't coming where they were supposed to. The fight scenes seemed to be listless, as the response was. And I just sat there as everyone left the theater, and I couldn't believe it. I really blew it. I was humiliated and saddened by it. So I walked down 3 flights of stairs out of the theater, and everyone from the theater was standing there, waiting for me. And they started to applaud. I mean, truly applaud. I'll never experience a moment like that again. Stallone risked everything he had on this film, and after enduring the worst living conditions, he had nothing left to lose. Although his determination and patience paid off because Sylvester Stallone was now a household name. Stallone's aspirations of an acting career pushed him to endure odd jobs and accept any roles he could find. But after his rapid success with Rocky, his life would be forever changed as more opportunities were put before him. In an article about Stallone's rapid success by Nicole Natalie, she recalls Sylvester's encounter with his limo driver before the 1977 Oscars. Literally, I was parking cars 10 months earlier, and now here we are at the Oscars, Stallone recounted. I rented a tuxedo, and on the way to the Oscars, the tie broke, and the driver goes, "You want to borrow mine?" I go, "Nah, I guess it doesn't matter." So I walked to the Oscars looking like Benny Boombots. How you doing? And people are like, "Oh my God, what arrogance! How dare he?" Sylvester Stallone went from valet parking cars to a celebrity at the Oscars. Stallone was ignorant in the realm of high-class Hollywood, but his innocence and humbleness would allow him to stay as the determined, poor, aspiring actor he started out as. In 1982, Stallone starred in his second breakout hit, First Blood, the movie adaptation of a 1972 novel about a Vietnam veteran super soldier suffering from PSD, named John Rambo. Rambo became Stallone's second signature character after his box office success. Sylvester had now proved that Rocky was no fluke, and many more opportunities presented themselves as a result of this. Stallone would continue to star in a variety of films, most of which were action movies. He rarely explored other genres of film due to the lack of box office success from his few attempts. Knowing this, Stallone stuck to his roots with The Expendables and Creed. The Expendables is an action-packed movie with a star-studded cast of action hero icons. The film is about a team of elite mercenaries and their adventures across different missions. This new series, along with his revival of the Rocky franchise through its spin-off series Creed, threw Stallone back into the spotlight. Creed is the story of the son of Rocky's best friend and first professional opponent, Adonis Creed, and his aspirations of professional boxing with Balboa as his trainer. These 2 installments in Stallone's acting career were box office hits and once again made him a popular influencer in Hollywood. Sylvester Stallone is currently 73 years old and has been nominated for 3 Oscars among other awards. He has starred in over 70 movies since the start of his acting career. Stallone has been married 3 times and has 5 children, the oldest of which, Sage Stallone, unfortunately passed away in 2012. The 36-year-old and his father did not always see eye to eye, but his passing caused Stallone a great deal of grief. Despite all of Stallone's success, he has endured a tremendous amount. Through a traumatic childhood, near homelessness, the complexities of sudden fame, and facing the loss of his eldest son, his life has been a tough one. But through all of that, he never stopped working toward his goals. Sylvester Stallone's life story inspires those of us in difficult situations by proving that if you stay determined to reach your goals, you cannot fail. Despite the difficulties of Stallone's childhood, he was able to endure and find a way to outlet his stress through athletics. Sports led him to new aspirations of an acting career, and that dream pushed him to take on odd jobs and accept any roles he could find. However, after his sudden fame from Rocky, his life changed dramatically as more opportunities were presented to him. Regardless of Stallone's success, he has endured a great deal while never steering away from his goals. No matter the obstacles, Stallone stayed on the path he chose to achieve his dream. The life of Sylvester Stallone is a story of struggle, much like the story of Rocky Balboa, a young man seeking his dream while no one believes in him, until he gets his one shot at it. He knows this is his only chance, and the odds are stacked against him, but he won't go down without a fight. You might not care about Sylvester Stallone or 90s action movies, but everyone has a dream. Take what Sylvester Stallone and Rocky Balboa have taught us to heart. Never give up on your dream. No matter how bad the circumstances seem, stay determined, because you never know when you'll get your one shot.